Welcome to Travel Tales, a mini-series within Distress to Joyful Bailey's Way podcast. I'm your host, Bailey Raber, here to travel the world with you. In each episode, you'll hear firsthand how my travel experiences have gone, both within the United States and abroad. Together, we'll discover new cultures, learn about a variety of new places for you to go out and explore, bring light to how I navigate my bipolar disorder while traveling, and, most importantly, we'll have fun. You'll leave each episode stocked full of exciting new ideas, interesting information, and feeling like it's time to hop on a plane. So come on, friends, let's start exploring. Hello, everyone. All right, let's get started with day 4, a dream come true, the trip to the Taj Mahal. And I just butchered that, and I'm going to keep going with it. So we woke up a little before 5 a.m. to begin getting ready to head to the Taj Mahal. Of course, Moni and I not only woke up late, but we also took longer to get ready than anyone else, meaning that we left later than we had originally planned for. We were hoping to arrive at 6 a.m. when the gates opened so that we could beat the crowds and watch the sunrise over the magnificent Taj Mahal. Which, side note, we did not get there at 6 a.m. We did wake up at a little before 5, but we didn't leave until like 6. So again, my fault. I needed to get my makeup ready and my hair done because this is like a once in a lifetime thing for me. Because as much as I enjoyed it, I honestly have no desire to go back. It's one of those bucket list things, you guys. You know what I mean? It's like you go do it and you're like, fuck yeah, I got to do this. And then you're like, but if I had the chance to go again, I probably would do something else because you're like me. When it comes to travel, you love exploring and experiencing new things. And if you're not like me, you should try because I promise you it's great. Exploring new things, trying new things, guys, that's what life is all about. So I'm going to get off my soapbox right now and get back to the story because this is not what you signed up for. Once we were set, we hopped into the car and off we went. On our way, we made a quick pit stop to pick up our tour guide who would escort us all around the monument. Our driver dropped us off at the west gate of the Taj Mahal, where we excitedly exited the vehicle and began the short trek to the entrance. On our walk, we saw so many baboons. So these were the monkeys that the signs kept warning us about, which if you guys tuned in to day 3, Exploring Delhi, at the end of that podcast episode is when we arrive in Agra and I talk about monkeys. So I told you there'd be more monkeys this time, and here we are with more monkey business. So Dad reminded me that they are only considered baboons if they have a red ass, just as these ones did. Some of them were so little and cute, and Moni joked, saying that he doesn't need to take me to a zoo ever again because all of India is just a free zoo. And guys, especially y'all on YouTube, if you wait till the end of this episode, you'll see the slideshow, and there's a shit ton of monkeys. There's a video of it. I also, for those of you not on YouTube, if you look at the episode notes on whatever platform you're listening to right now, you can actually click watch the slideshow, and that'll take you to a 2-minute long video where you'll see all of the beautiful photos from this day and the monkeys too, of course. As we arrived at the entrance gate, we were first required to go through a ticket line. There was the quote foreigner line for me to stand in, and then there was the Indian resident line where the family all lined up. My line was basically empty and their line was packed, which both myself and Tanvi found odd. I was told that typically the early mornings at the Taj Mahal tend to be overcrowded with foreigners, as Indians aren't really known for getting up early. So, hence, this is why it felt odd. Also, fun fact, Indians not getting up early, that's actually like a known thing. Monish is only a morning person because of me, because I make him be one. Not because I make him, but over time, he's just gotten used to it. He goes to my 5 a.m. workouts with me during the week. We're both awake by like 7 or 8 on the weekends now. Like, that's his typical life for us. But for Indian culture, usually things don't even start like Shops don't open, things don't start moving until like 10 a.m. or later. That was one thing, y'all, when I was in India by myself. Side note, I was in India by myself in December of 2022. And I was always ready, like, yeah, let's get the day going. Dad and I would go on a morning walk at like 7:30 or 8. And then we'd literally just chill at the house until like noon or 1 o'clock before we would go out and do anything because nothing opened. And it was always so frustrating for me because I'd ask mom. I would always ask mom the night before, be like, okay, so when are we going to go try on dresses? Or when are we going to go do this shopping for me? Or whatever. I had a whole list of shit to do. And she would always say, "Oh, like 1 or 2." And I'm over here like, "1 or 2? So what do we do all morning?" All morning, I journaled and read books, and I'm gonna now get back to the story. Okay. So after going through the ticket line, we were then ushered into security lines that were separated by gender, the separate lines being a common occurrence throughout the country. Which, guys, if you haven't listened to anything, they do this, especially in the airport too. Women go in one line and men go in the other line. And if you're getting wanded with like a security wand, which is usually what happens in these security lines, the women actually go behind like a curtain. So it's like a box that's all curtained around, and you go in and you get wanded there. It's all about, like, modesty and the privacy and, the woman's body being, like, a private thing. That's what most of this has to do with. It might have a religious aspect too, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what happened here. I got wanded in this line, in the women's security line, yeah, to go to the Taj Mahal, which shouldn't feel weird because, I mean, when you go to DC, you get, security checked for, like, all the things. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just different because I'm standing behind curtains being wanded by a woman and not just, like, out in the open like what I'm used to. So, at this point, we still hadn't made it inside the Great Gate to see the Taj. So next, we began to walk from the Taj complex, which is as soon as you get out of the security line, you are in the Taj complex. So we walked from there into Gilakana, or the forecourt, which I probably pronounced wrong, that stands between where you enter after purchasing your tickets and the Great Gate, which then leads you to the mausoleum. So as we were walking through this area, so still on our way going to see this guy, this guy being the Taj Mahal, which actually the Taj Mahal should be a woman. If we're going to give the Taj Mahal a gender, it should be a woman because of the whole story behind it, which you will get a version of here shortly. So hang tight. So as we were walking through this area, Tanvi mentioned that she noticed a bunch of Bengalis, which Bengalis are people who are native to the state of Bengal in India, West Bengal. Bengali tigers or Bengal tigers, which I'm sure most of you guys have heard of, especially because there's a football team here in the US called the Bengal Tigers. So that is actually I believe, the most western state of India. I could be wrong. There might be one a little bit more west of that, but the state is called West Bengal. And Tumdi noticed that these people were everywhere at the Taj, which she said is not a usual thing to occur here in Agra. So Tanvi has visited the Taj Mahal on many occasions over the years, and so I definitely trust her opinion on this matter. Also, fun fact, the reason why she would understand Bengalis and very easily pick out this type of people, which I'm sure it's kind of common in general, to be honest. Like, if I go in the north, people definitely know I'm from the south, and that's from my dialect and the way I talk. Over there, I think it's easier because if you know like Bengali dialect, then it would be easy for you to pick out a Bengali, right? You would know. You would just know. And so, fun fact though, Tanvi's husband grew up in West Bengal. So, again, she understands this way more on a higher level than I do. So, again, I trust her on this subject matter. But Tanvi thinks that the pandemic might have sparked an interest for all of these villagers, because they were villagers from Bengal, to take the journey to see the Taj Mahal in real life. And we talked about that quite extensively when we were there, and I agree because in the US the same thing happened. When I went to see the Grand Canyon in 2021, Holy shit, y'all. It was packed with people, and the pandemic wasn't even like quote unquote over yet. But more and more people have started traveling, especially those who didn't travel before, because we got cooped up for a year. We weren't allowed to travel for a year. And so that's, sparked a lot of the interest in people. And, you know, I hope it helped spark the interest with you if it didn't previously. And if not, then I hope that this here is sparking the interest because I'm an avid traveler. I will always promote it. I've learned so much from traveling, and I want you to do the same, which is why I'm here telling you all about it. So, as we made our way towards the last gate that served as the final guard for the Taj, our guide started to quote facts about the monument, officially beginning our experience of this wonder of the world. When we walked through the massive gate entrance to find the oh, we then walked through the massive gate entrance. My God. We then walked through the massive gate entrance to find the magical Taj Mahal staring us right in the eye. It was absolutely breathtaking. Just as my experience seeing the Grand Canyon in real life, seeing the Taj Mahal in real life was so surreal that it seriously looks like a dream, or it feels like a dream when looking back. It really does. And guys, the photos that I took seriously do not do it justice. I just wanted to stop and stare in awe of this thing, but the crowd kept moving, so we rushed to take some good photos while there were very minimal people in the background. Boom. Another reason why you should get there early. Get there early, less people, you get way better photos. So here we took our first family photo with all six members of Pariwar finally together, an iconic photo that we plan to hang on the wall in our apartment when we get home, which it actually is on the wall of the apartment now that I'm home. We had fun with the photo ops and just getting to stare and wonder at the beauty of such a magnificent place that was built hundreds of years ago. Moni and I made sure to take the iconic celebrity photo on the bench that numerous celebrities, both foreign and domestic, have set down before us for the photo ops. I felt like a celebrity myself as Moni was directing me where to stand, how to pose, and everything throughout the entire day, as he loves taking photos, most specifically with me as a subject. And if you guys didn't already know this, I love having my photo taken, most specifically when it's just me as the subject. Again, another reason why Moni and I are such a great match. As we continued to walk towards the wondrous Taj Mahal, I realized that we were actually going to get to walk inside of it. Oh my God, how cool! So I actually didn't purchase my ticket, so I was completely unaware that the family had paid an extra fee for each of us to be allowed entrance inside this monument. And side note, guys, I just love to point these things out. So, Indian residents pay a much cheaper entrance fee than foreigners. But as a foreigner, you can expect to pay around 1,300 Indian rupees, which is approximately 16 USD. So, they actually paid like 200 rupees each. Like, that's it. It's so much more for foreigners, which is completely understandable. And I'm not complaining because a $16 entrance fee to me, I'm like, "Oh, that is nothing." I pay more to go see a movie sometimes. But yeah, guys, like we were walking towards it and then the tour guide was like, "We're gonna go inside." And I was like, "Wait, we're going inside?" I didn't even know we could go inside. Like I've only seen pictures from the outside. I never imagined going inside. So, which I'll get to all of that here in just a second. But having a tour guide with us deemed very, very useful as he was actually able to help us bypass a ridiculously crowded line to get into the monument while continuing to give us more fascinating history lessons along the way. So once we got through the line, we were required to put on shoe covers or remove our shoes completely as they do not allow shoes inside the monument. This is to help preserve the beautiful This is to help preserve the beautiful white marble and prevent it from getting dirty. So I joked that we all looked as if we were wearing surgical shoe covers and that we were about to head into surgery, which if you check out the video, you'll see they look like a surgeon's like shoe covers that they put on. Like that's exactly what it looks like. And that or going barefoot. And guys, I do not recommend going barefoot in the Taj Mahal, especially if you're in like March or summer, like the hot times. Guys, there were children running around it barefoot. This is a white marble floor. A white marble floor. It absorbs, like it reflects the sun. I'm sorry. It doesn't absorb. It's not black. It reflects the sun, but that shit was hot. I literally took off my sandal because I thought about doing that and I touched it and I was like, nope, I'm keeping my shoes on. And there are these just little kids running around barefoot. Like, do you not feel that? Like, what? Crazy. So, as we walked up to the entrance, our tour guide mentioned that because this was a burial monument built by a Muslim believer, that all around the entryway was a Muslim prayer written in Arabic. So, one commonly mistaken belief that I found is that a lot of people seem to be under the impression that the Taj Mahal is a palace of some sort. Guys, there's even a hashtag on Instagram and Facebook. Hashtag Taj Mahal Palace. Like, first of all, like, if you're talking about that, I hope you're talking about a hotel that's called the Taj Mahal Palace. Like, I really, really hope that's a hotel. But I have had a lot of people talk about me going here, about it being a palace. I'm like, it's not a palace. This is not a palace. Nobody lived here. It's actually for dead people. So let's talk about that. Oh, also, I I personally blame the Disney movie Aladdin and the Sultan's Palace for why people think the Taj Mahal looks like a palace because like the Sultan's Palace does look quite a bit like the Taj. It really does. And so if you want to see that and kind of compare, obviously you can just Google it. But in my article that I actually wrote, which is what I'm reading from right now, I linked an image to the Sultan's Palace where if you look at it, it looks like the Taj Mahal and it's kind of fucked up. But hey, whatever. I still love Disney and I still love Jasmine and Aladdin. So the Spark Notes version of the story of the Taj Mahal, adapted via my own interpretation, complete with a little humor and a touch of my personality, is as follows. The Taj Mahal, of course, I fuck it up. The Taj Mahal was built by the fifth Mughal Empire. Oh, the Taj Mahal was built by the fifth Mughal Emperor, Shah Jahan, in 1631 in memory of his third, yet obviously favorite, wife and soulmate, Mumtaz Mahal, a Muslim Persian princess. Unfortunately, Princess Mumtaz died shortly after giving birth to their 13th child, 13th. What a tragedy. How tragic, you guys. But this princess had a type A personality and always planned ahead. So, long before she died, Mumtaz made her husband commit to 4 promises. First, that he build the Taj as a mausoleum for her to be buried in. Second, that he should never marry ever again. Third, that he be kind to their children. And fourth, that he visit the tomb each year on her death anniversary. Yeah, so that's my SparkNotes version, which I like way better than if you read the real story, but you can read the real story again through through the article that I wrote. You know me, I like to just throw in some humor and have some fun, and I love storytelling. So, yeah, it is a mausoleum, meaning that it's a tomb, guys. The Taj Mahal is a tomb. It is not a palace. It is to be respected. It is to be looked at in awe and wonder. Like, I don't know what else to tell you because this was built so long ago, which actually we're going to move into that. So let's go and talk about that real quick. So before we walked inside this marvelous structure, God damn it. So before we walked inside this marvelous structure, our tour guide told us to go up to the side and touch the hand-carved marble that was the walls. Besides the marble, there are additional colorful precious stones that were also hand-carved and added to the walls to create an array of patterns, such as floral designs. This elaborate burial monument was built in the 17th century So not only was everything created by hand, but the entire architectural structure was put together without modern day machinery. And the total height is over 280 feet tall. Like, can you imagine the manpower that was required to create such a thing, you guys? No wonder it's a wonder. No wonder it's a wonder. Like, this thing it's massive, guys. I stood there and just looked up, and it is just incredible. It is so large. I had such a fun time putting my hands all over the wall, touching all the things. You know, I was that kid in the grocery store touching everything while my mom was screaming at me not to touch shit. So when the tour guide was like, "Yeah, touch it," I was like, "Okay, let's just touch all of it." There's actually photos of me touching it. But everything was hand carved, and when you touch and you feel, you're like, "Damn, somebody did all of this by hand?" Wild. So wild. As we made our way inside, we saw a very large sign that read, "No photos allowed," which was a bit of a bummer at first, but then I quickly realized that this meant that the images of the inside are in my head only and they are reserved just for me. Ha ha. Although, now that I think of it, that is probably a bummer for all of you. So I guess you'll just have to plan a trip to see it for yourself. Wink, wink. So the tombs found inside are actually replicas of the real thing, which are located underneath. So let's pause for a moment. Let's talk about the inside because this is something I did not describe in the article so much. So you're welcome. I'm going to do it here now for you. So the inside, first of all, the doorway is really small in comparison to like how big it actually is. It's like literally a small square doorway. I mean, it's a mausoleum. They probably didn't expect it to be what it is today back then when they built it. They really probably didn't expect other people to be going in it every fucking day like we all do. So you walk in this little door and I think it's to the left, e either to the right or to the left, there's actually a staircase that goes down, and it has a sign, "Do not enter, you cannot go there." That's where the real tombs are, and that's where the real bodies are buried. Because I'm not an expert, so I might be quoting some of this wrong, but as far as I'm aware, in Muslim culture, you're supposed to be buried a certain amount of feet underground, and so that's why the tombs, they're underground. But in order for everyday people to get to kind of understand what's going on down there without number 1, exhuming the bodies, and number 2, having a shit ton of people go down, like up and down the same staircase. Like, guys, it's one staircase in and one staircase out. Like an Egyptian tomb, I'm sure is the same way because you're expecting to put everything in and leave it there. You're not expecting people to go in and out all the time. So why would there be an exit? No, there's just the one in, one out. So instead, what they have is that, the top of the Taj Mahal, it's like that big dome, right? The pointy dome. So directly underneath that pointy dome is where they have the replicas of the tombs. They've got hers, they've got Princess Mumtaz, and then they've got her, like the Emperor Shah Janan. I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong, however you say it. They got both of those there. And then there's literally like roped around where you walk around it. And there's somebody there making sure that you don't go over the ropes or anything, but you can walk in a circle around these tombs. And while you're doing that, oh, which hold up, pause, let me keep going on this, and then the whole circling around will make sense in just a second with the dome. So our tour guide was definitely a lively character, and he told us to yell something into the dome-shaped ceiling as we walked the circle pathway that surrounded the replicated tombs. Whoa, got ahead of myself. Sorry, y'all. So the reason for doing so is because you can hear a massive echo that carries for quite a few seconds after yelling. So while I'm not a fan of loud noises, which if you've tuned into my episode on sensory overload, you'll know why. I didn't yell into it, but dad 1000% did. He and the tour guide just were having the best time screaming into this dome, I swear. So the backside of the monument faces the right bank of the river Yamuna, which I might have pronounced correctly. My Hindi teacher is going to kill me for pronouncing things wrong. So, and across the river, you can see the foundation of what was supposed to be the second Taj Mahal. So, apparently, the emperor had plans to build the exact same structure across the river on the other side, but in black marble instead of white. This obviously never happened, but I'd heard of this quote legend plenty of times before. So the fact that I was standing at the backside of the Taj Mahal looking across the river and I could see the foundation on the other side makes me think that there's a lot more truth than myth to that story, which was also really cool, you guys. Like, think about it. Have you ever heard a legend or a myth about something in a far off place and wonder how true it could actually be? Guys, I stood here and saw what people have talked about with my eyes. I'm sure you could find it on the internet, I'm sure, but seeing it with your real eyes in person is so much better than just Googling the answer. Seriously, guys, get out there, see the world. I'm telling you, it's the best thing you'll ever do for yourself. Walking along the mausoleum and through the gardens together as a family, we took our sweet, sweet time to enjoy the atmosphere. Looking back now, it was a dream come true, and I wanted to make sure that I absorbed every bit of it while I could. So eventually, we made our way back to the Great Gate and exited, leaving the Taj Mahal behind and taking only memories and obviously photos along with us. From there, we walked around the bazaar streets and made a quick stop for some chai. There were a ton of monkeys running all around the streets. One in particular caught my eye because it was sitting on the rooftop of a shop, chewing on the wires that provided electricity to it. Okay, guys. So when you exit the Great Gate, so the Great Gate is actually what lets you into the area that houses the Taj Mahal. Outside of the Great Gate, there is an area, which I should have talked about this before, but that's okay. There's an area that was known to be like, I guess it was supposed to be servant quarters or like where workers stayed while they were building this. And so it was that's just it. That's all it was. But like that's there. On the other side of that, because again, the Taj Mahal has multiple gates. Like we went through one, two, three to actually get to it. So in between 1 and 2, there's what's called the bazaar streets, and it's just like a ton of shops. You can buy all your souvenirs there, which we did buy one. Actually, we bought this. We bought a magnet, the Taj Mahal magnet that I have right here. And, that kind of stuff. And then there's, of course, little snack shops. There's food stalls. Obviously, there's chai spots where you could get some chai. And so we were there for a little while getting chai, just chilling, taking our sweet time. And that's when I noticed on the rooftop of one of the shops, a monkey was just sitting there chewing on the electrical wires. I was like, dude, that shop is about to explode. Like that monkey's going to explode and then the shop's going to explode. But if you want to see that video, it's actually linked in the blog post that I wrote in the article. So that's there. Have fun, enjoy. It was a very odd thing to see. So, as we made our way back to the West Gate to head back to our hotel, we were constantly being approached by people, mainly children, trying to sell us things. So, I overheard Tanvi say, Nahi chahiye. Like she kept saying Nahi chahiye to them, which in Hindi means, I don't want that. So, I quickly adopted the phrase and just started saying Nahi chahiye to all of the people that approached me. It was like a flood of people, y'all, especially like I'm one white person with an Indian family. Like they're going to flock to me before they flock to them because foreigner, foreigner. I have this like flashing sign that says foreigner, I'm going to buy shit, which I'm sure a lot of Americans come over there and do buy a ton of shit, but like that is not me. Y'all should know by now. Make conjuice. That is not me. I do not spend money like that. So, what was really funny is one of these individuals politely responded, "Okay, thank you, madam." and then walked away, which I thought was hilarious because I was saying it in his language. Nahi chahiye, nahi chahiye. Okay, madam, thank you. And just walked off. And that was funny because normally these people don't give up. They keep trying and trying and trying, but he was so polite, and I won't forget that. That's one of those random instances where you're like, "Damn, okay, my politeness was met with politeness because I wasn't being rude, just "Nahi chahiye, nahi chahiye." Yeah, funny stuff. So we made it back to the hotel just in time to indulge in the breakfast buffet, which I was starting to really enjoy after now being the second time getting to do that. So this was yet another delicious breakfast provided by a five-star hotel, and I definitely ate more than I probably should have. So once we finished up breakfast, we quickly went back to our rooms to grab our bags so that way we can make the trip back to Delhi, as we had another 4-hour car ride in store in order to get back there. So the driver took us from Agra straight to the airport where we hopped on a flight from Delhi and flew back to Mumbai, where Moni and I would stay for the next 2 days to spend some more time with Tanvi and Jigger. So on the plane ride back to Mumbai, we all coupled up on our seats, myself with Moni, Tanvi with Jigger, mom with dad. As soon as we landed, everybody made sure to look out for one another, help each other with our bags or luggage if needed. We all exited the plane together, and with tears in my eyes, I thought to myself, wow, this is what it's like to take a trip with a loving family. I'm so happy that I get to be part of this. And I'm tearing up right now, and I need to stop. Because it's true. Like, I never went on family trips as a kid. A family trip, quote unquote, was going to Dallas to see my grandparents for the weekend, and that was it. And while we were there, we would usually go to the movies and have dinner at the house, and that was it. Like, we didn't do vacations. Never did we do a family vacation. Never did we go anywhere fun as a family. We never did. Moni did all the time while growing up. So him doing this with his sister and his parents was just so comfortable for him. He's so used to it. I don't like the word normal, you guys know that, but it was just such a common thing for him. And when Jigger, Tunvi and Jigger got married, that was just fine for him too, because I'm sure his family did that growing up too, but my family didn't do that. And so this trip was very, very special to me, not just because I got to see the Taj Mahal, which has been on my bucket list since forever, but also because I got to experience what it's like to go on a family trip with people who love and care for each other and have a good time, and nobody gets in a fight. Nobody's screaming and yelling. Nobody's getting in trouble. We're all just enjoying each other's company and the trip. And it was super great. Super great. So before we go, I've already showed you guys the Taj Mahal magnet that we brought home, which is broken, which I'm going to fix actually today. I also have my postcard, which I should have read this at the beginning. I didn't think about that until just now. Whoops. But this is a beautiful one that I purposely picked out because it's a sunset and I just love it. It looks amazing. So it says on the back I wrote, "What a dream come true. Visiting the Taj Mahal has been on my bucket list for as long as I can remember, and Moni made sure that I got to do this on my first trip to India. How incredible. I could feel the history while being here, and I was shocked when I found out that we'd be able to go inside this magical, mysterious tomb. I even got to touch it, something I'd never even dreamt of doing." The end. Just kidding. There's more in store. Not about the Taj Mahal. Not about the Taj Mahal, but there is more to come. We're only on day 4 of this trip to India. Again, I hope you guys aren't getting tired of it yet because I'm not. And just so you guys are aware, once we're done with India, I'm probably going to do a little bit of the US again. I have not done US travel in a while. And then we've got the Europe tour. So hang tight. There's a lot of really, really fun things in store. Sure, the Taj Mahal is amazing. Everybody's heard of that, but there's so much more fun to come on this trip. You guys really just have no idea. So stay tuned, and until next time, take it easy, stay grateful, and be joyful. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Travel Tales. Head on over to whatishaybellsdoing.com/travel to find the resources mentioned in today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating on your favorite listening platform or write a review on Apple Podcasts. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on new episode releases. See you next time for another great adventure. Bye!